I'm Steven.
And I'm Kevin.
In today's episode of the Steven and Kevin Show,
we're going to talk about eliminating some inner circle toxicity.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 56 of the Steven and Kevin Show. Today, we're going to be talking about eliminating inner circle toxicity. Fantastic topic. We're going to be talking about, the fact that everybody in your circle isn't necessarily rooting for you.
Yeah, and you may not know that they're not rooting for you, or might be some subtle thing that maybe tips you off that they're not rooting for you. But the key is that you want to be surrounding yourself with the right types of people, right?
Yeah, and by today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to identify them and how to take action. So stay tuned. Now, a quick plug before we get into it. We'd love to share with you a little bit about our coaching services. Coaching is for people who are looking to make positive change to their business, whether it's in how do you go out and attract new clients, or whether it's in how do you run your business more efficiently. We have professionally trained coaches who are there to guide you along that journey. Mark my words, if you hire a coach, you're going to do more and better marketing than you would on your own.
Think about it. I mean, who is pushing you professionally right now? Do you have someone who is holding you accountable to specific actions that they know will help grow your business? And most advisors that we talk to, they don't have that person in their life. This is a very positive person, right? We're talking about, kind of negative people and making sure you eliminate those people. This is a positive person who is rooting for your success.
Plug number 2, while we're on a roll here, is for social media automation. Many of you, and you know your firm type better than we do, are able to take advantage of a service like this where you can outsource your social media to a group like us. We're good at it. We know what we're doing, and it can be a turnkey solution for you to be on the cutting edge of LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social networks. So for either of these services, check out our website. There's plenty to learn about them there. And if the shoe fits, wear it. We'd love to hear from you.
So let's get into it today. We're going to start with how to spot negative people. And again, the importance of this topic, I mean, you want to surround yourself with positive people, right? We're all life forms of energy, right? And if we have other people who are sucking our energy, and you may not even know about it, that's going to hurt your overall success in the long term.
And imagine the two ends of the spectrum. Let's say, for example, and this is a crazy example because nobody has this, but let's say your circle was completely full of toxic people, that everybody you surrounded yourself with at work, at home, in your social life was just negative. They're dragging you down. They're questioning why you're doing this. They're overly picking on your flaws. They're riding you. And it takes its toll. You would have no choice but to be a slightly negative person.
I was going to say, that has to rub off on you a little bit, and you become that negative person, and now you're just like one of them.
And if on the flip side of it, if you're on the other end of the spectrum and everybody in your circle is an achiever, they're uplifting, they're encouraging, they want you to succeed, they're fueling your creativity, you can't help but have a little bit of pickup in your own internal energy. So neither one of those two ends of the spectrum is reality for any of us.
Right.
We all have some people in our circles who are on the positive or negative side. And today's topic isn't so much about identifying those who are really blatant offenders, because we all know about them, right?
Yeah, the person that it's so obvious that they're just a negative person.
Yeah, you just,
right?
Maybe you are, I hate to use this term, but frenemies, you know them. You'd say hello at school, but you certainly never invite them over for dinner. You'd certainly never go on a weekend trip with them because they're a little bit toxic and you don't want to get into their negative programming cycle. Right. So forget about them. But there's a lot of other more subtle things that are going on. We're going to start today by going through a pretty neat list that we found from Lifehack. And this was a list of 15 ways to spot negative people. We're not going to go through all of them today because some of them are better than others. So we cherry picked the best for today's episode. But these are pretty interesting. And think about these in terms of your life. Who do you know who sounds a little bit like this?
Okay, so the first one here in terms of how to spot a negative person is looking for people who always are worrying. These are constant worriers. Negative people survive on worry. It's geared towards the need to feel protected and aware to an extreme degree. So you can all probably think of someone in your life right now who's always worried about this. And then once that worry is gone, now they're worried about something else, right? That's a sign that you might be dealing with a more negative person.
Number 2, they try to tell you what to do. And their point is basically this. If you have somebody who's always trying to tell you what to do, it's a pretty sure sign they don't have their own life figured out.
Right.
I don't think there's a lot of truth in that.
And that doesn't necessarily mean I think parents sometimes fall into that. Like they like to tell you advice on what to do, right? But that might be coming from a little bit of a different place.
Yeah, we're talking about people who they just have more advice than they know what to do with.
Maybe it's a peer of yours who always you should be doing this.
Let me tell you what else you ought to be doing.
Yeah.
Right? So, thanks.
That's good. Number 4 here, or the next one here, number 3, they enjoy secrecy. So if you meet a negative person at a party, you may find the conversation rather tedious, fearful of revealing too much information about themselves. They live in fear that doing so would be used against them in some way. So I guess these people they're scared to open up.
Yeah, they want to know a lot about you so they can pick on your flaws, but they don't want to reveal a lot about themselves.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. That's a telltale sign that you might be dealing with a negative person.
Number 6 on their list was they cannot limit their exposure to bad news, and they seem to thrive on it. And so natural disasters, murders, bad grades, a neighbor going through a hard time, they thrive on this. That's their favorite topic. You see their face light up when they are into something negative, right? And there are studies that show, and they pointed out in this article, that too much focus on negative news, if you're too dialed into local news, the newspaper, the negative things happening in your neighborhood or your school or wherever, is statistically linked to anxiety and depression. So you can't help it. If you are that tuned into negative news, it's going to drain your energy and perhaps those around you.
And you can't just blame the news, right? I mean, they're in the business of getting ratings. And there was another study that found that, I forget what it was, but one news outlet just decided they were going to do all positive news. Remember that? And their ratings just tanked.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
No one wanted to. I mean, not no one, but a lot of the people who were tuned into the news constantly and all these tragedies going on, it might be a little bit more negative.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm kind of a news junkie myself. However, I'm a little bit more selective in what I read. I don't thrive on the negative news stories, right? So,
next one here. Oh,
I'm sorry. Can I go 2 for here?
Yeah. 2 for.
They have very thin skin. And
why did you touch me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why did you touch me?
See what I mean?
Why
here?
did you touch me?
These are people who are overly sensitive to criticism, even if it's a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, you're really good with the details.
However,
and you're like, what does he mean by that? I can't think bigger picture. I'm not a big picture guy.
Exactly. But some people are very, very thin-skinned, and you can't even give them any sort of critique. They read into things too much.
Yeah, exactly right.
Next one here, and I really like this one. Negative people tend to never go outside of their comfort zones. They don't venture outside of and do something that makes them feel uncomfortable, something they haven't done before. Moving outside the familiar world is foreign to negative people. They cannot face the possibility of more fear, discomfort, or challenges. And they're just kind of more stuck in their normal day-to-day typically.
Next one is they love the word but. Right? Negative person might say something positive or even compliment you, but they always finish it with the but. Right? It's like the inability to see the positive in something. Hey, this is a great beach, but there's so many people here.
Right.
Oh, that's a great elementary school, but are you sure about the middle school?
Mm-hmm.
There's always the but, the negative catchphrase at the end of it.
I like that one a lot too. Another one here, they never get excited about future projects. And this is one, I think it ties into comfort zone. It's just they don't like change necessarily, right? They don't like the idea of growing personally, professionally, and doing something new, changing the way the status quo is, things have always been done. They don't like that, and that's a sign that they might be a little too wrapped up in their present misery.
Yeah. The last one we'll go through today from this list is they put a negative spin on good news. And I think the example they gave was really good on this one. It says basically that person who you're a little reticent to share good news with because they're going to put a negative spin on it. They're going to rain on your parade a little bit.
They might throw in a but.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, my son scored a goal last week. Isn't that great? Oh, well, hopefully he's not getting too focused on sports, the academics today and blah, 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 right? They're going to rain on your parade.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Right, I got a new promotion at work. Oh, does that mean you're going to be traveling more?
You have more responsibilities. You're going to be working later hours. Yeah.
Does that mean you're going to have to move to the home office?
Yep, that's good stuff. So those are some somewhat more obvious ways to spot someone who is a negative person. Now we're going to show you some subtleties, things that you should be on the lookout for in your own personal life that might give you just an inkling that, hey, this person might be actually not rooting for my success.
Yeah, I think these are really prevalent. And these are just little subtle jabs that you get from people that just show they're not completely on your team, and you ought to take their suggestions with a grain of salt. Number one, warning you about success. Right? People who are saying, hey, don't get burnt out. Why are you working so hard? You need to take some time away. Enjoy life a little bit, right? There's some truth in that, but these people often don't have your best interest at heart.
Rationalizing your success. And this could be a very, just subtle comment like, I know, congrats on all those new clients, but you joined that really big team, right? Or,
you're always so lucky.
You're always so lucky,
you're
right?
so lucky. It's like, oh, no, man, I'm working really hard, actually.
Yeah, it must be nice to be part. Yeah, exactly.
People who downplay your career, right? So they know what business you're in, but they're kind of like, so you're in sales, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Angling.
This one here, jumping at your flaws. So this is always picking little things like, man, your car's always dirty.
Yep.
Right. Or
you're such a loud talker.
You are a loud talker. You're a close talker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Close your mouth when you chew.
Hey, you're always late. Right.
Yep.
Just little things like that, and they don't even have to be that obvious, but they're these little nitpicking things that give you an idea of that person, they're just a negative person.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time on a negative call so far today. We're not talking about people who are uplifting. We're not talking about the winners in life. We're talking about people who, hey, maybe they're good people, but they have the tendency to drag other people down. So how do we take action on this? Number one, first part of this is just recognizing who in your life fits this mold.
Yeah.
Right? And this very well could be somebody close to you. And we're not advocating for divorce, so don't blame us if that, in fact, happens out of this exercise. Hopefully it doesn't. Don't blame us, or don't go down the path of trying to completely shun these people. But caution yourself against putting...
surrounding yourself with them way too much, way too often.
Yeah, or putting too much credence into things that they say, right? You're looking to moderate their influence on your life. So the first things first, recognition is half of recovery. So recognize who these people are.
So make a list of some of these people. Like think about some of these traits as we were going through them today and say, oh my gosh, that's just like John at work, right? Or my friend Jimbo. I'm throwing out random names because I'm trying not to say any of my friends' names. But I was thinking it would be kind of funny if we each had to identify our own saboteur. So I'm kidding. No, we wouldn't do that. But you need to you need to think about who they are in your life, and then next you need to activate your shutoff valve. So that's what you said, Stephen. Not like thinking, not caring too much if they do say something. Kind of, just blanking it out, understanding that it's a lot of white noise, and that I can't put so much energy into what they say.
Yeah, and helping them redirect a little bit. You can help them out a little bit. If somebody's always mired in the negative, so let's say you have somebody over, your kids or friends, and you're having a nice conversation with them, they're always mired in the negative. They're always want to talk about the person who's going through the divorce, or they always want to talk about how bad things are at work, or how bad the weather's been, or how much of an idiot the soccer coach is. I'm the soccer coach. You're helping redirect them a little bit by, hey, so anyway, tell me a little bit about you getting ready for the big football season this year, or, tell me a little bit about your mom came in town recently, right? You're helping redirect and keeping them a little bit more positive.
Yeah, but University of Michigan, they're going to be no good this year, and my mom just drives me nuts. Right?
But, you're trying to steer it away from things that are just not productive.
But you know what? I mean, going back here, again, you have to understand the underlying reason why they're being negative, too, a lot of times, especially towards you, is because your success or, your positive energy is making them feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. And lastly, add more achievers to your circle. It's uplifting when you have people around you who are living the right actions, right? Mm-hmm. They're trying hard with their family. They're trying hard at work. They're trying hard with their personal health to the best of their ability. These are the people who help bring you up. And there are times where you take a look at your inner circle and say, maybe I could use some better influences in my life. Are these people findable? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Right? If you think about some of the people on the fringes of your inner circle, people that you know of who you're not really close with, people who are in the fringes who are achievers, uplifting, encouraging type people, draw them in. Yeah. Spend a little more time with them. Ask
Yeah.
them to coffee. Have them over for a play date with your kids. Have them over for a dinner party, that sort of thing.
Those types of people, too, will also be a really good sounding board for you when you are experiencing some sort of obstacle, right? They'll be the positive, aspect of that. And so anyway, these are the three steps today in terms of identifying these negative people, looking at the subtleties, little kind of subtle jabs that give you an idea that maybe they're not rooting for your success. And then lastly, how to actually take action on this. So we would encourage you today to think about, how can I spend more time with those positive people that I know are in it to win it with myself. That was okay. I mean, I don't think that was that good. We should redo it.
All right.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just trying to be negative.
Oh. I was kind of like,
I think
all right,
it's good enough. I think it's good enough. that was. I was really working that.